Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mahogany Tree Talk. As we just wait for people to come on. Yep, live and direct from Mahogany Studios. Okay, what's happening? No one's joining us. We're telling followers. Okay, I am Amarachi. Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome to Mahogany True Talk. Ooh, it's got a very interesting show lined up for you today. As always, our shows are always very interesting. You know that. If you've been following us, you know how good they are and how how informative they are. Hey, Warriors joined us. So, let's get the intros out of the way. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sholo Yubade, aka Mr. Mahogany, and you're welcome to Mahogany True Talk. Yes, which is a weekly interactive show brought to you by Mahogany Productions and Events. Mahogany Productions and Events is an explorational event management company that handles production and event management for our clients. This show, of course, focuses on everything that has to do with events, from production to event management, hosts, music, and even food. Yes, today we're going to be talking a lot about food. Yeah, we'll be bringing you top guns in the industry to talk to you and give you an inner scope as to how the business side of the industry works. Please feel free to drop your comments, suggestions, feedback, questions as we go along. All right, so we're just waiting for our guest to come on board, who should be joining us any minute now, so we can get straight into it. Because one of the things I realized that 1 hour is never ever long enough. Honestly, it just zooms by like that. So we don't want to waste time. Want to get straight into all the gist, so you can find out about what it's like, particularly with the catering experience abroad. I mean, it's something completely different. The sort of things that they have to go through to be an authorized caterer is really something else. So we're just waiting for Nigel of Favour Catering to come on board. He's connecting now, so he should be joining us any second. In declaring openness, yes, I have known Nigel Olushegun for a very long time. He's just joined us, so let's try and get him on board now. I've known him for many years, back in the day. So he's a good old friend, but someone's been doing great job business-wise. Hey, Mr. Nigel.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How's it going?
So
Sorry,
for the
I'm a few
purposes
minutes
of
late.
this show, are we calling you Nigel or we are calling you Shegun? Which one are we calling you?
I was born Nigel Olusegun, so whichever suits you.
See this man. You see, this is what happens when you interview people that are based in the UK. They can never give you straight answers. They will always give you long-winded answers and expect you to decide.
My first name is Nigel. That will do fine.
Okay.
Yes.
So we shall call you Nigel. Okay.
Yes.
So, hey, my brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have you on. Do you understand? It's been quite a while since I've worked with you in the UK, so we have a lot to talk about. But as I always like to do, let me first and foremost do an introduction so that people know who you are, especially for those that will watch it again later. All right.
Okay.
So Nigel, as he gave us his full names, Nigel Olusegun Ogunniyi.
Yes.
Is the sales and marketing director of Favour Catering Events, London's leading African and Caribbean caterers with an unparalleled position in the event industry. Nigel has led the company over the years to acquire a very impressive portfolio of 5-star hotels and stately homes that he caters to. As a brand that is committed to delivering only the best, they have a team of professional chefs and waiting staff that are dedicated to delivering outstanding levels of service to every event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nigel of Favour Catering.
Hello.
So, yes. Hello. Nigel, how has it been this last few months with COVID and everything? What's been happening?
Well, as we all know, COVID is something that's affected the whole wide world. We try to lay down to survive the pandemic. And after that, we're now getting back on our feet because we have to be compliant with the government. You can't be doing things that the government doesn't want you to do. So we're now getting back into the system. We're now doing tasters with our clients. We're consulting with them, thank God for Zoom. And so we're meeting clients online. We're designing menus. We've just finished a new menu and a new price guide, which before COVID, it would have been impossible for us to do because it's busy. But now COVID has given us the impetus and the energy to do this and get it ready for 2021, 2022 wedding season.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, I think one of the key things to listen to here, guys, is that you have to be planning way ahead. And that's what you're doing. You're not just looking at the immediate now. You're looking at what can take place in the nearby future.
Yes, it's got to be for the future because increasingly you have, we're catering to a multicultural set of people, diverse cuisines, all kinds of food allergens and allergies, and we've got to be compliant. It's actually against the law now if you're not compliant with those things. So we have to get ourselves up to speed.
Well, one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, not now, later on as I go through it, I want to talk to you about things like compliance, things like safety certificates, licenses, and stuff like that. Because in Nigeria, I'm not going to lie, is a general free for all. They're there, but we don't really stress about them. We
will catch up,
maneuver. We can maneuver our way around. So why I want to talk about it, ladies, but there's some people that might be considering wanting to do stuff abroad, and it'd be good for them to know. But first and foremost, how did Favour start? Why did you decide to go into the catering for events?
Well, I didn't decide. My wife, Victoria, who's also your friend.
Yes, she's on board. Hi, Victoria. How you doing?
Decided that, well, ordinarily we would entertain friends at home, friends and family. So a Saturday afternoon or Sunday evening would be a good time for friends to come around. We will make dinner and entertain them. And we were getting good at it. And one day she just dropped a bombshell. Why don't we do this full time? As a husband yourself, you know your first word is no. You understand me? It's not going to work. Impossibly, you know. But slowly it grew on me. Slowly I embraced what we needed to do, and then we set about doing it. This was 20 years ago next month.
20 years. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yes, because you started a little after me, so to speak. So yes.
Yes. Yeah. Right. You were 3 years ahead of us at that time. Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. That's right. Wow. 20 years already. Hey, Nigel, time has flown.
I tell you, it really has.
So what was it like at the beginning? Because I keep trying to tell people my story. They don't understand all these new businesses that are coming up within the last 5 years, 10 years. They don't understand what the struggle was like for us, particularly for those of us that were in the diaspora, because we came into an industry that did not accept Black people. There was no, people didn't want, sorry, who are you people? Where are you coming from? We don't know you. What kind of food are you people cooking? So give us an insight. What was it like at the beginning for you, particularly as a caterer?
Well, I won't tell a lie. It was tough. It was difficult. But that's not to put people off. It's just the fact that if you step into any of the five-star hotels at that time. They'd never heard about African catering. They don't know we eat rice and potatoes like they do. So they had no concept of what we were about to do. So every meeting you went into was like a wrestling match. And you come back home and you're tired, you're aching all over because you're saying the same thing to them. Eventually, they found out what we were about. Eventually, they found that as Black people, as African and Caribbean people, our food couldn't be ignored. The earliest experience of an average English person eating African or Caribbean food is when they go to Kenya on a safari, or they go to Jamaica on a holiday, and they thought the food we ate at that time was just holiday food. But this is everyday staples that we eat. Eventually grew on them.
So, okay, I know that you say eventually it grew on them. Let me see if I want to tackle this later. I think I'd rather tackle it now because you say eventually it grew on them. That's fine. I understand that. But it couldn't be that easy because what you see, part of what Mahogany True Talk is about is that we want people to understand that a lot of people look at you now and say, Nigel, Favour Catering, big boy, money maker. Hey, you understand that they're cleaning up. But it's true now. Nigel, let's not get it twisted. But they don't know what it was like 20 years ago when you were not even breaking even, when you were knocking on 200 hotels or trying to get into to venues and they were saying no, 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 no. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Victoria and I set about this in a meticulous way. So it meant that we had to produce menus that will match our Caucasian menus. So you had to get your carbs, your protein, your vegetables, and all that, so that when you put them side by side, they're just not calling it African food, but they can actually categorize them to know that this will give you this will give you that. And our food is not known for its looks. We are known for our looks, but we had to sharpen, we had to chisel, we had to mold, we had to design these menus so that they're aesthetically pleasing. Then we had to get over the hurdle of making this food acceptable to them. We had to tone down the spice so we don't blow their brains. So we we had to make it acceptable. So when you combine, when you give someone a meal now, it's got to have all the components of a balanced meal.
Okay.
You understand me? That's acceptance.
Yeah. So when you say components of a balanced meal, in terms of, because when we in Nigeria, okay, maybe by accident we have balanced meal, I don't know. But did you have to do some extra training? Did you have to learn to make sure that, okay, I need to have X amount of portions of vegetables, X amount of portions of rice? What did you have to do? Or was it just something that just happened naturally?
Well, it did happen naturally, but we had to employ a food consultant who was on £400 a day, whether or not we did it. Yes.
So £400 a day, guys, just in case you don't know, is for those in Nigeria, give or take,
was
that's
then,
about 220,000 naira a day, just to put into perspective. Okay, continue.
That was then. Yes. So they had to test each and every component of our food to make sure that it had a balanced meal. So you need to combine this and that. Say, for instance, we have gone into fine dining now, and the most popular meal that we have is shank of lamb with yam pottage. You just couldn't have all that meat and all that carbs. You had to balance it with plantain or spinach, which we call eforiro, so that when somebody gets a plate of food, they know that it's a balanced meal. Of course, it had to be aesthetically pleasing as well.
Okay. So by aesthetically pleasing, what you're saying to people is that it has to be decorated. It has to look
Yes.
nice. You can't just dump 2 spoons and
No,
dump
no.
the
You have to
finish
have
on top.
you have to have edible flowers. You have to have color. So whatever food you're presenting to anyone, it's got to look fine, as we say. You understand me? Because the youngsters, the millennials nowadays will go to a restaurant. The first thing is they pull out their phone to take a picture of their food.
Yes.
You understand me? So you have to have everything in different colors: green, orange, brown, stuff like that. I know those things look like they don't matter, but to our new wave of clients, the Black young professionals, it matters a lot.
Wow. How business has changed. I'm hoping that a lot of caterers that are listening to this understand how you've got to up your game. So in terms of your clientele, okay,
Yeah.
For everybody listening, Nigel and Favour Catering are based in the United Kingdom, in London primarily, but they work across the whole of the United Kingdom. You have both African and Caribbean clients.
Yes.
But are the Africans more? So in terms of Africans, what nationalities do you have? Are most of them Nigerians or other nationals? Give me a kind of breakdown of the type of clientele, maybe a little bit of a percentage. So you might say 20% are white, 60% are Nigerian, 10% are Caribbean. Do you get what I mean?
I do. We are born Nigerians and we are Nigerians, but naturally we will gravitate towards one another. But the majority, and I hope people don't shoot me for this, the majority of our clients are Ghanaians.
What?
Yes. So if you're to divide them into countries, the majority are Ghanaians. We do have the Nigerians, when they see the name Ogunniyi, yes, they know, yeah, this ones are Ijebu people. You understand me? But increasingly, we do multicultural cuisines. So it wouldn't be out of place for us to do an Algerian and a Zimbabwean wedding, or a Congolese and a Nigerian wedding. Yes. So we've gone from being Nigerian caterers to African and Caribbean caterers. So now we do a multicultural cuisine. We had a wedding in February. He was Polish and she was Zimbabwean. Don't ask me how they met, but that was their nationality.
Wow. So when you have your multicultural weddings,
yes,
is the food catered? So like where you had Polish and Zimbabwean, would you cater the food to meet them, or would it still be Nigerian food that they would want?
As you know now, we have chefs from all over the world. So our Polish chefs will do the Polish cuisine. Our Zimbabwean chefs who are working in our kitchen, employed by us, will do the Zimbabwean menu. And generally, jollof rice has united the world. Everyone's asking for jollof rice. So you'll find a Polish person and a Zimbabwean, and the rice dish they'll be having for their menu, for their event, will be jollof rice. Of course, Shola, this is all toned down because they can't handle our spice.
Yes. So as an aside, what happens if I'm at this Polish and Zimbabwean wedding and I'm Nigerian and there's no pepper? What happened? Me, I'm a Nigerian man.
Yeah, of course. I knew that was going to come. Of course, we got condiments. So there are condiments on the tables. So salt and pepper, because we know those who can handle the spice. We will go around offering them, would you like it slightly spicy? And they'll say yes. It's like you go into Nando's. They've got hot, they've got lemon and herbs, and they've got one that is even I can't handle it. You understand me?
Yeah. Okay. I hear you on that one. That's good. So, okay. As you can tell, you have not been in Nigeria for a while. You know, you've been catering outside of Nigeria, Africa for a while.
But I have been in and out of the country.
Yeah, we know, but sorry, fake people like you, we don't count you. You just come in and visit. spend your pounds at 520 to 1, have a good
It's
time,
okay.
and run away. So we don't,
By
so
the way,
forget all that
it's
one.
not 520 anymore, Shola.
When you come and work here, then we know that
Yes.
you have come to Nigeria. Then you will see when, say you've lost your hair now. Come here, your head will disappear, not just your hair. You don't know anything.
No, we know that we have stewards like yourself on ground. I have been, and you've shown me around the places that I need to know if eventually we need to shop for stuff. But don't forget, we also have caterer friends in Nigeria who are of equal ilk. They're doing a good job out there. You understand?
Yes,
We may be in England, but the caterers in Nigeria are serious with what they do.
No, they are. Don't even. And the sizes of their events and stuff, they have to be very serious because we have a very discerning clientele. Which is so. What I want to ask you about is this. Okay, like I said very early on in the conversation, I said that the way you have to do things is very different. There's lots of rules, lots of regulations, lots of formalities you must meet. If you don't meet them, you could potentially be sued. You could lose your license with a hotel, whatever it is. So talk me through the process, okay? Because I know that you're registered with a number of hotels and venues, yes? But I know to get registered is not easy, yes? So talk me through the process of, I'm a caterer. I want to get registered with Park Lane Hotel. I'm just calling their name just for the sake of it. What are the sort of things that they would require from me to be able to be registered if they're accepting African caterers?
Okay. There is a method to the madness. It's obvious you need to register the business. You will need to go through a food safety audit if we're to go to places like that. It would help
who does the food safety audit? Who does that? Is that government or the hotel?
Well, the government have food safety companies who will come and audit your process or your processes. So, say for instance...
Talk to me a little bit about what you mean by processes. So I need as much detail as possible, please.
Okay. So your mundane task of going to buy meat in the market, yes, for instance. So if I came to Nigeria now, I'll go to the market, buy my food and put in the boot of my car and drive away and drive home. At this level, you need to go to a supplier who is credible. And when we say credible, we don't mean rich. They need to be able to trace the source of their goods and services. So they can tell you what batch of meat was sold to you yesterday in the market, where it was slaughtered. Very often in the UK, you'll take a look at a pack of fish, and you know when the fish was caught. You understand me? And how long after it was caught that it was chilled or frozen. So there are processes in place. So you go to the market and buy these items. You can't just put it in the boot of your car. It needs to go in a refrigerated vehicle. So a chiller, for instance. When it gets to your kitchen, it goes straight to the fridge or freezer. And after that, you're cooking it. When you cook it, you need to record the temperatures of the cooking and how long you cooked it for at that temperature. It's too... You're joking. Are you serious? It's too laborious and mundane, Shola. Are you serious? When that meat is ready, if you're not eating it there and then, you will need to chill it down quite quickly using the blast chiller. The blast chiller is a super fridge or super freezer. So you need to be chilled down within minutes, ideally within 90 minutes. And then if you have to regenerate the food, so you have to warm the food, you need to record the temperature at which you warm the food for. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that way you can trace, you can walk your way back, God forbid if anything happens. Did you understand me? And that's just one. But to answer your question properly, you need to be compliant. Okay. Well, let's start with the pillars of the business, first of all. First of all, you need to have your own brand. Your brand. Mahogany International is a brand. You understand me? You
Yeah.
need to have your sales and marketing department. You need to have your finances in place. You need to be able to do your accounts. So I remember, Shola, I remember one of the exhibitions that we took part that you had way back in the 90s. Not in the 90s, in the noughties, at Grand Connaught Rooms. I made the payment to your account because we had personal transactions regarding Arsenal. But you had to transfer the money back to my account for me to now pay your Mahogany account to show it going through your accounts. I don't know if you remember that incident. At that time, it looked a bit funny. I was wondering what's wrong with this guy, you know? But now I know why it's like that, because you need to be able to account for the business money and your personal money.
That's right.
You understand me? So in getting ready, you will need procedures in place. So your procedures have to be in place. Your suppliers have to be in place. You have to be compliant. Your local authority, through the Food Standards Organization, will give you a pack telling you step by step. They will hold your hand. Don't forget, they want you to succeed. They don't want you to fail. Right. So step-by-step guidance of what you need to do and how you need to do it and how you need to get there, basically.
Wow. So that's the first part of it. Okay.
Yes.
So things have changed considerably since when I used to be there. So I don't know what it's like now. But when you first started, there was a lot of hotels that didn't want to take on African caterers. They just didn't see the point of it. Now they realize our business is good, and they now have started taking us on. So how would you know which hotels to approach or venues, and then what's their particular procedure? So in other words, if myself and you both went, I'm a caterer, let's pretend, Mahogany is a caterer, Favours is a caterer, and we both went to Joe Blogg's hotel, what process would they go through to decide whether they should choose you or they should choose me? We've all got all of our certificates. What else would they be looking at?
They'll look at your track records. So if you both got similar certificates and stuff like that, they will look at your track record. Don't forget, it's like in England here, if you, I know you've got a NatWest account, yes? You've got a Santander account. If you want to take a credit card out this year, NatWest.
Sorry, just one up again. Just repeat that last bit.
So NatWest will go to Santander to find out what your track record is. True. So they'll need to know that you mentioned the Park Lane Hotel. By the way, it's become the Sheraton Grand.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So say for instance, the Sheraton Grand will go to the Hilton Park Lane and take a reference and say, these guys have approached us to become their caterers. We know they're your caterers. What would you say about them? Okay. So these venues will give references based on what they know of your professional conduct, your prices, your food, and how you generally transact business.
Man, it's not easy. It's not easy. So roughly now, just on average, about how many venues and hotels are you the official caterers to?
We do 8 hotel groups at the moment.
Groups. So that means that if you're doing Sheraton, they can send you to Sheraton, Notting Hill,
in the
Sheraton. UK. Wow.
Yes. So the Hilton group, the Sheraton, the Marriott of this world. So 8 hotel groups like that. But since you left the UK, we have gone on to do some venues exclusively. So say, for instance, East Winter Garden, Kew Gardens.
Kew Gardens, wow.
Yes, okay. Kew Gardens, yes. They've got a lovely temperate house there that will host all kinds of weddings. Don't ask me how it works, but it works. So you're sitting among plants and stuff like that, eating your food, celebrating love. Yes. So Sion House and Gardens, for instance, in Brentford. So we do about 5 or 6 venues. Mandarin Oriental, we do exclusively as well. This is amongst the other 4 or 5 other hotel chains that we do.
So looking at that, you're handling the hotel groups. You've got a number of exclusive ones. I mean, I'm fortunate that I know some of the places. A lot of people may not know. So maybe put it into perspective, particularly for our Nigerian people. So basically, guys, if you're looking at Kew Gardens, think equivalent of you saying that you're catering to the whole of Echo Hotel or Oriental Hotel or Intercontinental. It's that kind of size. All right. So that's to put it into perspective for you, so that you understand where it's. Because otherwise, they just say Kew Gardens. They think, yeah, so what's that? But in terms of size, that's how big it is. So now, when you're looking at this, all right, this to me sounds like a military operation, because there is every possibility that on any given Saturday, let's just use a Saturday, for example, you could have 12 different venues spread across the United Kingdom that you have to cater to. How do you manage that? How do you manage it?
Well, there are processes and procedures in place. We have teams. Teams are headed by managers. So from the beginning, if you were to go to, let's use the Park Lane Hotel, like I said, Sheraton Grand. So if we have a function there next week, Saturday, so after the consultation, the tasters in our kitchen, you are assigned a manager for your job. You are assigned a head chef for your job. And then the manager will pick his team based on the people that sometimes it's people they enjoy working with, or people who they're working to their strengths and weaknesses. So we will have these teams in place. The teams will take the job and run with the job, if you understand what I mean. So we will act as supervisors. We will, of course, if we take your money, we want to see you on your happy day. But you already know who's doing your job. The managers, the chefs who did your taster, they already know your menu. They know you personally, and that's how it works. So there's a procedure in place for all those kind of things. But I'll be happy to take all 12 jobs, like you said. It's never happened, but I'm looking forward to it, Shola.
Amen to that. But when you're in situations like that, okay, let's just imagine that you were, whether it's 6 or it's 12 job venues all at the same time.
Yes.
Do you have enough staff in-house, or would you have to bring in, or do you have freelance staff you work with, and how does that work?
Well, we've got very good staff. Our staff are the bedrock of our business. The food is good, yes, but our staff are our biggest strengths. So we have core staff. So we have 5 core staff who are managers. We make use of casuals. So we have permanent casuals. Some of them are so permanent, they've been permanent for 12 years.
Wow.
So
that's a full-time job now.
Yeah, so we use, and then we also use agencies. But this staff in these agencies work for us week in and week out. Due to being tax efficient, they don't want to work with us full-time because they have another part-time job. Do you understand me? So it's more efficient for them to work through an agency. They know what's coming in. They can work out what's their wages are like and stuff like that. So we have our own core staff. Then we have agency staff, and then we have permanent casuals. So if you have a function, for instance, in one day you could have a combination of all 3 kinds of staff doing the job. Actually, very often that's what happens.
Wow. So okay. So when we look at it logistically, that's I can't even imagine what it's like for you now, because I know that Victoria prefers to spend her time in the kitchen more than doing the sort of stuff that you do. So I know it's a family-owned business. Like you said, you and your wife started it together.
Yes.
Yeah, you do all the sales and marketing. She does all the cooking and the service and all that sort of stuff. What is it like? Will you say it's easier owning a business with a spouse? Sorry, I know I'm going into your personal business, but people would like to know. Or is it more complicated? Or are the lines so defined that you don't really have problems? I mean, I know that it works because you've been together 20 years doing it as a business. But let people that possibly are thinking of doing this or working with a partner or a spouse or whatever, let them
Yes.
understand what are the issues that you face.
Well, first and foremost, it's tough. Yes. Um, Victoria is no longer queen of the kitchen. She is director of operations now. So she's
Oh,
in and out of the kitchen.
wow.
She would sign off the menus. She would sign off the staff who's doing what and stuff like that. But to answer your question, working with a spouse can be tough. It's tough love. We have segmented the business. So she
Okay.
knows what she's doing. She goes and does her thing. We will come back together and sit on the table in the office and report back to one another. So it's not an organ and master kind of thing. It's not a husband and wife kind of thing. It's an equal partnership. And she will gently, in the nicest way, put me on the straight and narrow if I'm ranting and shouting and doing all kinds of things. So she makes it a pleasant environment by saying, this is what you need to do. You go and do it. This is what I need to do. I'll go away and do it. And then we'll come back later and then marry up the ideas of what we've done independently. If she needs help, I would help her. As you know, she's publicity shy. I'm not saying she won't sit here on this chair talking to you, but if you ask her to come to a groove over the weekend just for networking purposes, she wouldn't. You understand me? So we play to each other's strengths. I do sales and marketing because I love talking. I love meeting all kinds of people. She does operations because she knows how to put things in place for it to work. I hope that answers the question.
So basically, what I if I'm to summarize, you have what I call a perfect relationship. It's a bit like I don't have husband and wife in my business, but I have my Gege, who's my general manager.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's very good at doing the business side. So like she literally kicked me out of talking money because me, I just like doing events. So she says, look, we won't make money with you in charge. So she took over that business. She negotiates the contract. She does all of that. Then she can come back to me and say, okay, this is the aspect of the event I need you to handle. And this is the rest that I'm taking over, and I'm handling the money. I'm making sure we don't overspend and stuff like that. But so basically, you have just done the equivalent, but with your spouse.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
she
I mean, I must congratulate. Go on.
She will allocate the tasks. So when we have a job sheet, she will allocate the tasks. Who does what? We have a shopper who would do all the little shopping that we need to do. Otherwise, everything else is delivered to the kitchen. She'll allocate drivers, managers, porters, and head chefs to the different jobs. So she's, as you know, she will organize all that and will just leave us to run with it.
Wow. So okay, I look at the two of you running this. You've done it 20 years. I mean, there's sometimes a situation whereby you can have a business and it makes you a living. So in other words, you survive, you can pay your bills. Okay. But in terms of profit, I'm making money. Money. You understand what I mean when I say money? Not just money.
We don't pronounce it
Money.
like that, but it's okay.
Yes, but we are taking to that next level. Is it a lucrative business to do, especially in that part of the world where you are based? How do you cost and how do you ensure that you're never out of pocket, especially when you bear in mind all these 101 obligations and procedures and insurance and this and that you must do, as well as the high wages that you have to pay?
Is it profitable? Yes, it is. But you just have to do your metrics. You need to sit down and work out what your menus are, what your profit margin is, how much you can afford to do this. And of course, with our cultural background, our people want to buy it at the lowest possible price. But you just have to dig your heels in, be firm, be fair, exhibit all manners of customer services, but let them know that that's the price. You understand me? You talked about high wages. It can't be any more true than that, because in England, people get paid by the hour. So you'll need to work it out properly so that it's profitable. At the same time, you don't want to scare your clients away. If we're comparing it to our Caucasian counterparts, it's nothing. It's nowhere near that. But we're getting there, Shola. We're getting there. We know
Really?
that we can push it, but we can't force it.
That's interesting to know, because I mean, catering is never an easy business. And one of the things that always scared me from getting into catering is that, imagine, okay, I know that a lot of your meals is done by per plate, and whether
Yes.
if you're charging 20 pounds per plate, and the person says, I'm having 500 guests, then you are doing 500 plates, end of story. If only 300 guests show up, that's their problem. Okay, so I'm assuming there's not as much wastage for you. But what I wanted to ask is, how do you manage wastage? So if you are having to cook and you overcook, does that not come out of your profit? Or have you got it so fine-tuned now that your wastage is very little nowadays?
Well, when we started, yes, it was a lot. And thank God, people's dietary requirements have changed. So we don't consume food like we used to in yesteryears. You mentioned 500. The last 500 people event we did was in March, just before the lockdown. You know how many people are coming. We don't have as many stragglers at our events like we used to, because people will respect themselves, as we say in Nigeria, and only come to a function that they've been invited to. Now, we do make contingency plans if people oversubscribe, but it's important that we let them know that they'll get a bill if it's not something that we can we can bear the costs. But our clients are good. You understand me? There'll be a certain level. They would respect us as a business and respect themselves. And it's worked over the years. It's getting better. It's getting better. I can imagine what you're saying. Very often when I'm in Nigeria, a friend will take me to a party. I don't even know the host. They haven't planned for my meal at that party. But yes, I am going to the party. You know, in England, we do less and less of that, so it's okay.
So it makes it, in terms of managing it as a business, then it makes it actually much easier for you, because you actually know your numbers. You're not worried, because we have had it here, and my Gege Wire here can easily testify to that. That the client has told us 1,000 people are coming for the event.
Yes.
2,000 people show up. I'm not lying. 2,000 people will show up, and they expect to be fed and watered as if they were part of the original 1,000 people. So for the caterers, it's a nightmare.
We can't help it if you have 100% more people. You understand me? It's not the feeding of the 5,000. When we consult with them, we let them know that. But remember, I said to you, our clients are mainly Black professionals.
Okay.
They understand how these things work. Most of them went to school here, and they respect themselves, like we said.
I see. Okay, so it makes it easier. So for the food industry, in this COVID era, what kind of plans or procedures have come into place in order to ensure that safety is paramount, and to also convince your clients of that, especially with regards to events. So have you had to change, what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, have you had to change your way of doing business? I mean, you've heard the new phrase, the new normal.
Yeah.
Have you had to adapt to and create a new normal? And if you have, what is your new normal?
Well, of course, we've had to change. First of all, it's important for us to be compliant. The health and safety of our clients and our staff is important to us. So, like I said at the beginning of this, we are doing tasters now. Pretty much every weekend we do 2 or 4 tasters. When the staff report for work, we, in a fun way, take our temperatures ourselves. You understand me? So I'll do yours and you do mine. So we do a test and trace, contact tracing, the simple way, pen on paper. You understand me? Write down the mobile numbers when they came. You understand me? So that, God forbid, if anyone has any infection, 2 or 3 days later, we can always trace our steps back. In terms of health and safety of our clients, it's important that we comply. And in compliance is the staff have their own PPE that we've supplied. So everybody has a bottle of gel. Everyone has a mask that we've supplied. Everyone has a face shield that we've supplied. You understand me? When it's due for change, they know where it is. They go and get a new one. It's important that we observe the 2-meter rule. So in the kitchen at the moment, we have a 2,000 square foot kitchen. So in the kitchen, we can't have more than 5 people. In the office, when they come for a taster, so we leave the office for them. We can't have more than 4 people sitting in our office having a taster. It's important that the health and safety, like I said, along with what we had to comply with at the beginning, is merged with the post-COVID era, so that, God helping us, we're not having any infections, and we're not putting any life at risk. That's quite important to us.
So when you look at all these things, okay, that you're having to put into place, has it increased your overheads? And how are you making it? Because you can't put that money onto the client. That's not my business. I don't want to know. I want my £10 a meal. I don't want you to change it to £12 per person. Well, so how are you coping?
Well, it has increased our overheads. It will increase the prices of our catering. We haven't done that yet, but eventually we know that the client will have to bear some of it, because we can't carry on like this. You understand me? We can't carry on bearing the extra costs. The client will have to bear some of it in the near future. So I'm thinking, when we sat down last week Friday, we said to ourselves, by January 2021, we will need to have a little increment to offset the cost of PPE and all the procedures that we've put in place. So you've got posters, banners, you've got hand sanitizers, and all kinds of things in place. Somebody needs to pay for it. So we're sharing this responsibility with the client. And our clients, I believe, will understand this. Don't forget that they want their safety too. In order for them to be safe, these are the things that we need to do.
So in addition to what you are doing in trying to comply with government regulations, because they're pretty strict abroad,
yes,
have the hotels and the venues also stipulated additional restrictions on you? And if yes, what kind of restrictions have they also imposed, or procedures that you must follow as well?
Well, they have, to answer the question, they have imposed stringent measures in place. Say, for instance, we do every year we do 6 food safety events where health and safety, food safety officer will come and go through our books and procedures and stuff like that. In addition to that, we now have a post-COVID compliance that we have to adhere to. So a company will come and go through everything that we need to do post-COVID. And when they do that, they will issue you a certificate which says you're COVID compliant post-COVID. Do you understand me? So we've got two companies that have come around and done this in our kitchens. There's another two to go. And as you know, these things are not cheap. To give you an idea, it's nearly £500 per inspection for this post-COVID compliance regulations.
So, guys, that's about 300,000. Okay, those of you that want to translate that into naira.
Well, you don't have to keep reminding them, and they don't spend pounds.
No,
they spend
naira. They won't
I'm
understand
sure that
how expensive it. You know why I say that, Nigel? Because otherwise they don't
yes.
understand how expensive it is. They might just think, yeah, £200, no big deal. But when they hear it in naira, how much they're paying.
It's okay. I get that now.
So that's already 1.2 million naira just to be compliant. And our government is telling us to come and pay 100,000. I know how much people have been crying. So I'm trying to put it into perspective.
Well, you can spread it over a period of time. That's what we plan to do.
Okay.
Spread the additional overheads over a period of time, and then it's easier to swallow, if you get what I mean.
Wow. It's not easy doing business there. It's never been easy. When I try and explain to people why it's not easy for us to make money there, they don't quite get it, because they hear pounds and they think there's tons of money.
It's not easy anywhere. It's not easy anywhere because I've been behind the scenes in Nigeria where caterers are trying to manage isn't the word, when they're trying to deliver a service, and whatever happens, you need to have a chiller van following you up and down because the temperatures in Lagos is 36, 37, 38. You understand me? I've seen caterers with 2 or 3 chiller trucks just to get their chicken under temperature. Did you understand me? Yeah. So it's everywhere, whether you're in Nigeria, Malaysia, London, there are overheads that you have to bear. But
very true.
Hopefully, God willing, over a period of time, you'll be able to recoup your costs and move into the region of making profits with what you're doing.
That's right, and I mean ultimately that's the aim. Nigel, it's been great talking to you. But before we go, my last question to you is an open question. So basically, what I want you to do is to say anything that you want to the people listening and watching. So either talk about your business, give some advice to people, tell them about what it's like, whatever you want to do. Over the next 5 minutes is all yours to say whatever you want to say about the business, catering, you, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'll speak for 1 minute, and I will give them the chance to ask you the questions or ask us the question, then we can answer. How about that?
I would say, guys, so start throwing in your questions, please. If you've got any quick questions, throw them in now, type them in, and I'll ask Nigel as we're going along. So go ahead.
Yes, it's been a pleasure, Shola. We haven't chatted about business for a long time. It's usually leisure and Arsenal and football generally. But thank you for giving us the opportunity. And this is to anyone who is about to embark on a business journey out there. You need to choose wisely who your partners are. You need to have passion for what you're doing so that when the profits are down, the passion keeps you going. You need the pillars of your business, and in getting the pillars of your business right, you need to have your accounts, you need to have your brand, you need to have your sales and marketing, you need to have your processes and procedures in place so that you can sit back after a while and let the business run itself. I know that people who come from where we come from, saying that they have to be on the forefront of the business, they have to be doing everything. When you were here, Shola, I was the driver and the porter and the chef and this and that. Now I have one role, which is sales and marketing. So we have other people who are doing these things. As you said, the wages are high. So are the profits, thank God. It will all be okay at the end of the day. That's what I'll say. So long as you get these things in place, you'll be fine.
That's right. YNX Law, I think that's what it is. I might be wrong, but it's YNX Law. She said you catered to her sister's 10th wedding anniversary in Surrey. So I'm
Okay.
not sure if you remember that one, but anyway, she didn't say when, but she said you catered to their sister's 10th
10th
anniversary
wedding
in Surrey.
anniversary in
Yeah.
Surrey.
Yes.
If I had the name, I'll know who it is, but I don't have the name.
Well, she might drop the name in the next few seconds, so we will know it. I mean, Nigel, I really appreciate what you said. And I know that there are a lot of caterers here, people that are event people on here. And we always get a lot of people that come back and watch it because they like to get the insider gist. So we really appreciate it. I must say to you guys, you and Victoria, congratulations, guys. 20 years in the catering business in the UK.
Thank you.
You're no easy feat.
But you're our seniors as well, because you were 3 years before us, and I remember. I'll never forget one incident. You had some models on a Sunday. I know it was on a Sunday, and they were crying, "Oh, we're hungry." And I was looking, "But you're not their father. Why do you need to buy them food?" You went across the road and ordered some takeaway and actually brought it yourself. But so you've been hardworking yourself. We're grateful to God that our respective businesses have grown and waxed on the spirit, and they're still standing post-COVID. And long may that continue. If there's anyone out there who is struggling now, please hang in there. There's light at the end of the tunnel, like Victoria always says.
That's right. And we have been for it. Guys, don't just think when you look at the likes of Nigel or myself that it's been easy for us. We've had our ups and downs. We've had times when we thought about wanting to give up, to think, why are we doing this? Let's get a 9 to 5. You understand? We've been through times when there's been no money in the bank account and you're begging somebody, please, I only need just 1,000 just for 1 week. Let me finish this job. I'll give you back the money. You understand?
Well, we're grateful for what we've received and what we have. Yes.
That's
right. Hopefully we'll continue to impart knowledge, passion, and experience to the younger generation.
That's right. Nigel, thank you so much for coming on board. It's been a great
I should be saying to you, Shalab, my regards to your lovely team, and I'll see you next time in Lagos. And probably
you take care of yourself
now. Take care.
Yes, definitely. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Give my love to Victoria.
I will. Bye.
Bye. Guys, that was a great session with Nigel of Favour Catering. I hope you learned a lot. As you can see, they do things differently in the UK. Lots of procedures, lots of paperwork, lots of money that they have to spend, God, just to stay compliant. But the business is there if you can get it right. The hotels are ready for you. The venues are out there to use you. We will put this online so that you can watch it later, spread the word so that other people can check it out. We'll be here again on Thursday with Fashion's Finest Africa, with FFA Chat Room. Back again, of course, with Mahogany True Talk with another great guest next week, Tuesday. So guys, please watch out for us. Mahogany is all about imparting knowledge to people in the industry. So please keep coming, watch the videos, get the knowledge, ask the questions, and learn from what you hear. Remember, guys, COVID is real, so stay safe, social distancing, wear your mask, and take care. And we'll see you again soon. Good night, everybody.